We want to go and take a few minutes work reviewing with fractions relating to probability. So in this first example, we're asked to represent the following as fractions, decimals, percents. The shaded portion here would be 2 out of 3 or 2/3. To get our decimal, we can use our calculator, do our fraction, and then use the double arrow key next to the 3 key, enter. And so that'd be 0.6 repeating as a decimal. And then if we multiply that by 100, that will give us the percent. Sometimes you'll see them write the percentage that way. Sometimes they might go and write that back in fractional form. So it'd be like 66 and 2/3%. So the portion here is not shaded as 1/3. So if you do that on your calculator, that will give you 0.3 repeating. And if you multiply that by 100, that will give you 33.3 repeating percent. Or you could write that as 33 1/3%. Let's try number 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks. It's like 5 of shade them, so our fraction here would be 5/9. Again, we'll use our calculator here to get the decimal. So that's 0.5 repeating. And then if we multiply that by 100, that gives 55.5 repeating percent. The unshaded portion here would be 4/9. So we can do the division on our calculator, and that gives us 0.4 repeating. And then if you multiply that by 100, that will give us 44.4 repeating percent. Let's try number 3. We have Will was late to work 2 out of 5 times this week. So our fraction here would be 2/5. Go ahead and do that division on your calculator. Your decimal would be 0.4. And then your percentage here multiplied by 100 would be 40%. So in all 3 of these problems, you need to be able to go between fractions, decimals, and percents. So let's turn the page. It says in the 2017 baseball season, Charlie Moore of the Houston Astros won 14 games and lost 7 games. If he pitched a total of 25 games, what fraction and percent of the games that he pitched did he win? So our base here is going to be 25. That's the total. And on this problem, he won 14 games. So that would be our fraction. And then we're just going to convert that into a percent. Change into a decimal, multiply by 100, that gives us 56%. B says, what fraction and percent of the games that he pitched did he lose? Well, he lost 7 games out of the 25. Go ahead and do that in division on your calculator. That'll give you 0.28. Multiply by 100, that'll give you 28%. Now you may have noticed that 14 plus 7 does not add up to 25. That means there was 4 games that he didn't win or lose. So it was indeterminate, or what they call in baseball, no decision. So what fraction percent of the games that he pitched did he not win? Well, he won 14 games. He pitched a total of 25, so 25 minus 14 would give us 11. So we're going to write that as 11 over 25. Go ahead and do that division on your calculator and then multiply by 100. And that will give you 44%. What fraction percent of the games that he pitched did he not lose? Well, he lost 7 games. So we're going to take 25 minus 7. That's going to give us 18. And then we'll do 18 over 25. Go ahead and take 18 divided by 25 on your calculator and then multiply by 100. Let's try number 6. In a recent poll of 14,000 people, 4,006 respondents identify as Democrat, 3,708 respondents identify as Republicans, and the rest identify as Independents. What fraction percent of the respondents identify as Democrats? So we have 4,060 that identify as Democrats out of 14,000. Now we're doing this as a fraction. You always want on lowest terms. So let's put it in. So that reduces to 29 over 100. So there's our fraction. And then since our denominator is 100, the numerator then would be the percentage. Be 29%. Now for the Republicans, for part B, we have 3,780. We're going to put that over 14,000. And then we're going to reduce. That becomes 27 over 100. And that's just 27%. So what fraction and percent of the respondents did not identify as Democrats? Well, there are a couple ways you can do it. You realize that you have 29 out of 100 that identify Democrats. You could take 100 minus 29. That will give you how many out of 100 do not identify as Democrats. So that would be 71. So that would be 71 over 100, or 71%. Now, the other way you could have done it is you could have taken that 14,000 minus the Democrats. So if I took 14,000 minus that 4,060, that gives me 9,940. If I write that as a fraction over 14,000 and then reduce, gives me 71 over 100, which is 71%. So we could do it that way, or we could take 14,000 minus 4,060, put that answer over 14,000. And then if you reduce the lowest terms, you'll get the same thing. For problem D, what fraction percent of respondents did not identify as Republicans? Well, we have 27 out of 100 that do. So I'm going to do it that first way. Take 100 minus 27 is 73. So that would be 73 out of 100, or 73%. The way by taking 14,000 minus the number of Republicans, put that answer over 14,000 and reduce, you'll get the same thing. So here they want us to find the following as fractions and as decimals. So in a recent survey of 1,400 likely voters, people were asked, what is the most important problem facing this country today? The results are displayed in the table below. So we got some categories: Republican, Democrat, total, and then we have our different policies here, or issues: economics, healthcare, tourism, illegal immigration, foreign policy, other unsure, and then our total here. So the first question says, what fraction of the participants are Republicans? Well, we have 679 Republicans. Our total here is 1,400. So we're going to put 679 over 1,400. So that would be 97 over 200. And they also want the decimal here. So they don't want the percentage, they want the decimal. So on our calculator, hit that double arrow key next to 3 key. So 0.485. Part B says, what fraction of the participants said foreign policy is the most important problem? What is the decimal equivalent? So foreign policy, I'm looking at 98. So put 98 over 1,400. We go and do that on our calculator. And that gives us 7 out of 100, or 0.07. Now when we do probability, we're going to do it pretty much how we did these, except it might ask, what's the probability of the participant being Republican? And you'd say 0.485. What's the probability of a participant selected at random? Would say that foreign policy is the most important issue. Well, that would be 7 out of 100, or 0.07. So when we write probabilities, we're just writing fractions. What fractions of the participants are Democrats who said healthcare is the most important issue facing the country? what is the decimal equivalent? So here in this problem, we got to find what fractions are Democrats. So looking at Democrats who said health care is the most important issue facing the country. So we're looking at Democrats, health care was 133. So then we're going to do 133 out of 1400. So let's put that in our calculator. So that's 19 over 200. So there's our fraction. Forgot to circle it up here. And then our decimal equivalent, to hit the double arrow key, 0.095. Now, we have to be very careful in the wording here. Take a look at part D. It says, what fraction of the Democrats? See, before, I was saying what fraction of the participants I have to use the total. But now I'm talking about the Democrats. I'm only talking about the Democrats. Well, there's 721 Democrats. Said illegal immigration was the most important issue. So now my base here is 721. The number that said illegal immigration, well, if we look up here on the Democrats, that was 273. So let's get it reduced down. So that's 39 over 103. And probably going to have to do some rounding here. So let's go ahead and round it off to 3 decimal places. So you have to be very careful on the wording with these problems. Let's take a look at E. What fraction of the participants who said illegal immigration is the most important issue are Democrats? So again, we have to be careful. We're talking about a subpopulation of the survey. I'm looking at the total folks that said the participants who said illegal immigration is the most important issue. Well, that's 357. So that 357 is our base. 273 are the number that would have to go on top. So we're doing 273 over 357. So that's 13 over 17. And then we're hitting our double arrow key. Again, I'm going to go with 3 places. So let's go 0.765. So you really have to watch the wording on these problems. What fraction of the participants who said the economy is the most important issue are Republicans? So again, I've got to look at a subset here. I'm looking at the participants that said the economy was the most important issue. That's 567. So that's going to be my bottom number. Our Republicans, that would be 350. So we're going to do 350 over 567. It's 50 over 81. That's our fraction. And then let's convert that into a decimal. So it'd be 0.617. Let's look at G. What fraction of participants are Republicans who thought the economy was the most important issue? So now I'm back to my base here. My base here is the total number of participants, so that'd be 1,400. And I want to know the fraction that are Republicans who thought the economy was the most important issue. So that'd be 350. So let's go ahead and reduce that down. So that's 1/4. And that will end up being 0.25. And that actually is exactly equal to 0.25. So on these problems, you really have to watch the wording.